जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परमाचार्य सूत्रसत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की, इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की, आनंद कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की, वृंदावन धाम की, मथुरा धाम की, नवदीप धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की, यमुना माई की, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की, सामवेद भक्त वृंद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदी, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimate Vir Krishna Goswami Niti Namne Namo Ham Sanikashaya Prabhupada Priyate Shritite Shrinishta Ventasya Vakyana Bhadne. Good morning and Hare Krishna to everyone. Welcome to this morning's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 31, which is titled The Movements of the Living Entities. And we are reading from text 36 this morning. And I believe we have to cover the next text as well, so we'll try our best. Welcome also to our Mayapur online TV viewers who are watching us on Sydney channel and ISKCON Sydney YouTube. Okay, so Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudiraye Nasta Prayashu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay. Prajapati Swam Duhitaram Rasva Tadrupa Darshitaha Rohit Bhutam So Navaha Rohitam. Okay, hold on a minute. Rohit Bhutam So Nvadavad Raksharupi Hatatrapaha Prajapati Swam Duhitaram Drisva Tadrupa Darshitaha Rohit Bhutam So Nvadavad Raksharupi Hatatrapaha Prajapati Swam Duhitaram Dasva Tadrupa Darshitaha Rohit Bhutam So Vadavad Raksharupi Hatatrapaha Prajapati swam duhitaram Drishva tadrupa darshitaha Rohit bhutam sonmatavat Vriksharupi hatatrapaha Prajapati swam duhitaram Drishva tadrupa darshitaha Rohit bhutam sonmatavat Vriksharupi hatatrapaha Prajapati swam duhitaram Drishva tadrupadarshitaha Rohit bhutam sonmatavat Vriksharupi hatatrapaha Prajapati swam duhitaram Drishva tadrupadarshitaha Rohit bhutam sonmatavat Vriksharupi hatatrapaha. Ladies, on the board, would you like to read? No? Okay, that's all right. Prajapati, Lord Brahma, Swam, his own, Duhitaram, daughter, Drisva, having seen, Tatrupa, by her charms, Darshitaha, bewildered, Rohit Bhutam, to her in the form of a deer, Sa, he, Anvadavat, ran, Raksharupi, in the form of a stag, Hata, bereft of, Trapaha, shame. Okay, so the translation of the shloka that we just read, translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So, translation is, at the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and shamelessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a hind. Oh, that's like a female deer. So we can all repeat. At the sight of his own daughter, Brahma was bewildered by her charms and shamelessly ran up to her in the form of a stag when she took the form of a hind. Okay, so the purport, Lord Brahma, being captivated by the charms of his daughter, and Lord Shiva, being captivated by the Mohini form of the Lord, are specific instances which instruct us. Okay, so there's a reason why it happened, so we want to read why it happened. Which instruct us that even great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva, what to speak of the ordinary conditioned soul, are captivated by the beauty of a woman. Therefore, everyone is advised that one should not freely mix even with one's daughter or even one's mother or one's sister, because the senses are so strong that when one becomes infatuated, the senses do not consider the relationship of a daughter, mother or sister. It is best, therefore, to practice controlling the senses by performing what? Bhakti Yoga, engaging in the service of Madan Mohana, who is Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna's name is Madan Mohan, for he can subdue the god Cupid or lust. Only by engaging in the service of Madan Mohan, one can curb the dictates of Madan Cupid. Otherwise, attempts to control the senses will fail. So we'll quickly read over the next text. Tat Shrishta Shrishta Shristeshu Ko Nav Adhantika Puman Rishim Narayanam Te Yoshin Mayeha Mayaya. Amongst all kinds of living entities begotten by Brahma, namely men, demigods and animals, none but the sage Narayan is immune to the attractions of Maya in the form of women. Very interesting that a woman should take this class. The first living creature is Brahma himself, and from him were created sages like Marichi. So I'll tell you the story of Marichi, who in their turn created Kashyap Muni and others. And then Kashyap Muni and the Manus created different demigods and human beings, etc. But there is none among them who is not attracted to the spell of Maya in the form of woman. Throughout the entire material world, beginning from Brahma down to the small insignificant creatures like the ant, everyone is attracted by a sex life. That is the basic principle of the material world. Lord Brahma's being attracted by his daughter is a vivid example that no one is exempt from sexual attraction to woman. Woman, therefore, is a wonderful creation of Maya to keep the conditioned soul in shackles. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what kind of woman, not all women. So there is an exception. So just quickly, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, Lord Brahma, his job was to make the creation. And he came from the lotus that sprouted from the navel of Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu, who is Lord Krishna. So, his job was to create or procreate all kinds of living entities, and one of them were human beings, and one of them was his daughter. Now, the story goes, and I will give you a reference so that you know where I'm getting it from. I think it is here. Lord Brahma. In any case, I think I've lost the reference actually. But the whole point is that, oh yes, I do have it here. It is Srimad Bhagavatam 3.12.28, and in that it says that Lord Brahma would not have done this, being attracted to his daughter, if he would not have done this if he had listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the story is, the indication is that when he created his daughter, he had not yet listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam. That was the problem. So the reason behind this, the conclusion is that today we are reading the Srimad Bhagavatam and we are devotees. We are practicing Krishna consciousness. And if we listen to the Srimad Bhagavatam, take it to heart and follow it, then this kind of situations will never touch us. So, Lord Brahma, he had not listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam yet from Lord Hari, Lord Vishnu. That was the problem. After he learned this, then he didn't do things like this. So what actually happened? That would have been, what happened was when Lord Brahma, his daughter was Vak. Her name is Vak, another name for her is Saraswati. Now she was extremely beautiful. She was very attractive. And anyone could get attracted by her. So when Lord Brahma was attracted to her, the sages, they actually were witness. Not only the sages, the Vasus were also, all the Vasus, there are 8 Vasus. They were witnessing this. And I did say that I will tell you the story of Marichi. So Marichi was one of the sages. And Marichi had some sons. They were called the 8 Vasus. Now the Vasus are in charge of the polar stars. You have stars and they have certain functions within the planets and astrology outside. Astronomy, I think astrology or is it astronomy? I always mix up the two. But anyway, they are in charge of the stars. So they were witnessing all this. So what happened was Marichi very humbly, very humbly put his hands together and said a prayer to Lord Brahma and said, you are on such a high level and it doesn't suit you, and it is very strange to us that you are feeling attracted by your daughter. At that time, Lord Brahma didn't have a wife. So when these humble prayers were said to Lord Brahma, now we have to remember that Lord Brahma had not listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam yet, and that's why he was bewildered, because the enlightenment wasn't there. And the second part is Maya is very strong. And Lord Brahma is not, well, sometimes he is the incarnation of Krishna when there is no one to take the position of Lord Brahma. But essentially speaking, Lord Brahma is a Jiva soul like us. We are Jiva souls, ordinary. And we can, when we practice bhakti, we can actually reach to the position of Lord Brahma. My guru says it all the time. He says you can be Lord Brahma one day. Even Prabhupada says that. But we don't want to do that. Because even Brahma is prone to Maya. Maya affects the Jiva souls in the material world. So, taking all that into account, those prayers were being presented by Marichi to Lord Brahma to say, well, it does not befit you. Please don't do this. What will happen to procreation? So there's a poem, things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Have you heard that one before? Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. If the head of somewhere is falling apart, then it cannot hold everything else. So if Lord Brahma is setting this example, then what to speak of the ordinary soul? So the Marichi had taken this prayer. That applies to all of us. That is why Hare Krishna devotees are an example to the society. If someone who is a Hare Krishna devotee does things like this, then what's going to happen to the world? So we get so many scandals of stories and they say, he's a devotee or she's a devotee. Being a devotee, they are doing this. Why? What? The shock of it is a lot because we are examples to the society. But that doesn't mean we will not fall, we don't make mistakes. However, once we fall, we have to get up and improve. And the best way to do this is to get guidance from our mentors, somebody who is on a high level. In my case, my spiritual master, always. And I'm pretty fortunate that the spiritual master is easily accessible. So I will write an email to say this happened. And my the email response will be, leave this, leave that, leave this kind of association. Or chant more. Or try harder. Many steps. So when we become devotees, we think that we become initiated, we don't need guidance. That's very wrong. Actually, you need guidance your whole life. Whole life. Because at every step, there's danger. Not only that, as we become more maturity devotees, we have a responsibility to hold the others up. So if I see somebody doing wrong, it is my job, unfortunately, to tell them you're doing something wrong. Give them 2 slaps if needed. Give them 2 slaps if needed, which I have done to someone here. And the reason is that we need to follow the principles of Srila Prabhupada, follow the 4 regulative principles. That's unfortunately the responsibility. The higher, the more advanced or the more years you spend in Krishna consciousness, you have to do that. and to guide people so that they don't fall. The reason is that Lord Brahma would not go to hell for being attracted to his daughter. I'll tell you what happened to him later. But for us, we will go straight to hell. There was a class that I had given, how many hells was there? Was it 16 or was it something like that? Many hells, different kinds of hell. Designed, and it's guaranteed that one who falls and does things like that, they go straight there. So it becomes our responsibility as devotees to point out somebody's mistakes. And you will not be a nice person when you do that. They'll hate you for it. But you really are trying to guide them. To say, please follow the 482 principles. Don't do drugs, for example. Don't do drugs. Or don't eat meat, because this will happen. So it becomes our responsibility to guide them. There is in some instances, like, because I did some preaching, just giving an example, and trying to get this person to follow the 4 regulative principles. For every regulative principle, I had to create a big drama so that they give it up. Because certain people respond to certain stimulus. Some people are very nice, you can tell them the philosophy, read them the books, quote Srila Prabhupada, and they are fine. But others, they need a little bit of strictness. It depends on the person. That's part of preaching. So coming back to Brahma, what did he do? When Marichi went and tried to correct him, to say, it doesn't suit you. Brahma, being Lord Brahma, felt very ashamed. So when he felt ashamed, what did he do? Instantly he gave up his body. He gave up his body. So Brahma basically committed suicide in one way. His body became like mist or fog. And it just like disappeared, dissolved. Then he came back in another body. And this time he was armed with what? Srimad Bhagavatam. So this time he was, really well educated or well enlightened by our Shastras. And once you get enlightened by the Shastras, you will not fall prey to Maya. Maya cannot touch you. So that is why Srimad Bhagavatam is known as the king of the Vedas. Because when one reads the Srimad Bhagavatam, they are protected from Maya. Even more so than the Brahma, who was feeling attracted to his daughter. Now, the story is, Marichi, he had, 6 sons. 6 sons. And these sons also witnessed Lord Brahma in that state. And they started laughing at Lord Brahma. They actually laughed. And unfortunately, that was a mistake. Lord Brahma, actually in that state, we cannot do that. Did you know that? If somebody is in a high level like that personality, we're not talking about us. We can laugh at each other, that's fine. But somebody in Lord Brahma state or even Lord Balram state, we cannot, even if they make a mistake, we cannot laugh. We cannot. Now, these children, the sons of Marichi, they laughed, they fell prone to a curse. I'll describe the curse in a moment. Now, I'm just coming back to Lord Balram. Lord Balram, he used to dress up in finery and he used to be very opulent. And he's supposed to be like a sannyasi. And sannyasis are very renounced. Lord Balram had beautiful hair, beautiful jewelry, and he used to do all these things. And the story was that even if Lord Balram went to a liquor shop and married a Muslim woman, we still can't say anything to him. Why? Because it's the personality of God. That's his boss. We don't do that in our system. If a temple president does that, of course, he's wrong. But he's not Lord Balram. But we, in our state, we cannot. So, Lord Brahma, those sons of Marichi, because they laughed at Lord Brahma, they were fallen to a curse to come and take birth as demons. So they took birth as demons, all 6 sons, and they were the sons of, you do know about Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, the 2 brothers. So Hiranyaksha had a son called Kalanemi, and Kalanemi had those 6 sons. they had fallen down because they laughed at Brahma. So once they fell, they came as demons, but in order to protect themselves, they worshipped Lord Brahma. So these sons now, who are in the form of demons, who laughed at Brahma once, actually went and performed austerities. And Lord Brahma, being very kind, gave them the benediction that you will return to your normal abode in the heavens. But Hiranyaksha was so angry with them because they are demons. They are supposed to be worshipping Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, not Lord Brahma. So they said, you went against our will, these sons of Kalanemi. You went against our wishes and went and prayed to the enemy, Lord Brahma. Therefore, I curse you. So these poor demons they got cursed again. And what was the curse? The curse was that you will be killed by your own father, Kalanemi, in your next birth. So what happened to these sons of Marichi? First they became demon sons of Hiranyaksha's son, Kalanemi. Then they went and became sons of somebody who is one of the highest, personalities, very pure soul. They became sons of Devaki. Do you now remember what happened to Devaki's babies one after another? Who killed Devaki's babies one after another? Kamsa, Devaki's older brother. Now Kamsa was in the next life of Kalanemi, right? So Kalanemi in previous life was the son of those 6 sons. And in this life he is now the uncle of those 6 sons. And the curse was that he killed his own children. So now he became Kamsa and he killed all the 6. So that's the history of laughing at somebody who's on a high level. We have to be very, very careful not to commit Vaishnava Aparadh. Very careful. So, like for example, our sannyasis. We have our sannyasis and they are serving Srila Prabhupada. And sometimes they will give instructions which is very difficult to carry out. We cannot blaspheme them. Never. Because there is heavy reaction. Very heavy reaction. Because our very first offense of when we chant that we are supposed to avoid, what's the very first one? To blaspheme devotees who dedicated their lives to spreading the holy names of Lord Vishnu. So there is a very heavy reaction if you do that. So we have to be very careful. It happens all the way up to Brahma. So that was the story of Lord Brahma. Now, I'm coming back to the woman, because it says in there that the woman was created by Maya to shackle these souls so that they remain in the clutches. And it's very true. Like I come across somebody who said, that person is my brother. But really the relationship changed from brother to something else. However, I'm not pointing fingers at anybody in particular, but I'm just trying to say that this is Maya, how strong it is. That it clutches everyone. Everyone. So, what is the conclusion? What should we do to protect ourselves? First of all, read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Read the Srimad Bhagavatam. Second, take shelter of a Guru Maharaj. Follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada. And change your association to that who can keep you safe. So, my spiritual master, in his Zoom classes, he takes very nice classes. It's on YouTube. For those of you who would like to have, some further knowledge, you can go there. So in basically every class, not every class, but most classes, he will point out the importance of association. Why? Because you are who you associate with. You are who you associate with. So if someone associates with very high level sannyasis, their path is very straight. I remember I saw a YouTube that was video that was just posted by our devotee of the temple, Bhaja Govinda Das. He put this video of this temple in the year 2001. There was a video here. Now I was in Sydney, Australia, but I wasn't in the temple at that time. I wasn't coming to the temple as much. I think once or twice I came only. So I missed out on that video being present here. Now what was in that video? His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was here. Not only Tamal Krishna Maharaj, His Holiness Indra Dumna Maharaj was here. And there were some very senior level devotees. Now I'm talking about association. And there was one brahmachari at that time. I think he had started wearing white. Tamal Krishna Maharaj disciple. And he was accompanying Tamal Krishna Maharaj that time, all the time. And I had not witnessed that in 2001, but I met this devotee in Fiji in the year 2017. So 16 years later, now Tamal Krishna Maharaj has left his body. But because of the association, because he used to accompany Tamal Krishna Maharaj everywhere, he became the temple president there. And the temple was facing challenges because it's not a very rich country and, lots of things. He was able to just handle it like that, lift the temple up again, and that comes with association. So you are who you associate with. He associated directly with Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Now, as opposed to somebody who is, for example, associating with a druggie or an alcoholic, or somebody who's pretending to be a devotee but isn't following, then you will end up doing those things just like them. So that's why I'm saying, like in the Zoom classes that I've attended with my Guru Maharaj, he stresses the importance of association so strongly, because you are who you associate with. Very much so. Just like in our situation, they say you are what you eat, and you are what you eat actually. So you need to be able to take prasadam, and you need to be able to eat that is cooked by a devotee who is practicing. So it's important. That's why our instructions of having prasadam cooked for Radha Krishna is someone who is Brahmin initiated or at least initiated, because they are practicing. Their consciousness goes to what they cook, and then you consume that, and then you become that. So those are some of the guidelines. And unfortunately, as preachers, it becomes our duty sometimes to be really, really strict and actually just say, oh, well, Mataji or Prabhuji, this is what you are doing wrong, and you need to change this. You need to disassociate with people who are dragging you down, or you need to associate with people who can lift you up, one or the other. So the positive side is associate with the right persons. For example, this is a small example. If someone is aspiring for, say, Devamrita Maharaj to get initiated, then that person should associate. The best association would be Devamrita Maharaj disciples, because they are like-minded, right? That is the general, obvious association for them. Or associate with Prabhupada disciples, or disciples of Srila Prabhupada, so they are like-minded and they're practicing. For somebody who is aspiring for initiation, if they associate with people who are not initiated, or not worried about being initiated, then they're not really going to progress much. It will be years and they'll still be uninitiated. That's just the natural cause. So coming back to that Maya women I was talking about, not all women are Maya. Did you know that? There are two kinds of women. And I've said this in my class before, there are two kinds of women. One woman who is a devotee, one woman who is not a devotee. Easy. Now, there is a lot that is encompassed with a woman who is a devotee. A woman who is a devotee means she is following four regulative principles. She is following Prabhupada's principles. She is consuming prasadam. She is associating with like-minded, good association, high association. She is a devotee. And if she is reading Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, our scripture, Vedic scriptures, she is a devotee. And therefore she is not touched by Maya as much. Alright? Although, then for this particular woman, she wouldn't be such a big Maya. As opposed to somebody who's not a devotee. A woman who's not a devotee means she might appear to be a devotee, she might come to the temple, but she's not following. Maybe the four regulative principles are not there, or something. Then she's not a devotee. So, there are two kinds of women. So we have to be very careful which woman we are associating with. And that is what the Maya is. So let me try to give you some more hints and tips on what else we can do to protect ourselves. And these are some principles. And this is a very, these principles are some tips which we covered in previous classes and some of us already know. But it is really important to maybe go over it. So the first one, to protect ourselves from these situations, is to accept everything that is favorable to Krishna. So, the association I was talking about, the first thing I would say is this association acceptable to Krishna? If that person is going to nightclubs or something like that, then it's not acceptable to Krishna. That association should be avoided. My general feeling, on my level, because I'm not on such a high level to say, well, do I even understand what Krishna is, acceptable to him or not? I would always say, well, is this acceptable to my Guru Maharaj? That's how I measure. And I know because I have been initiated for a while now, and I attended the classes, and these classes were recommended to me by His Holiness Sankarshan Maharaj. When I was just newly initiated 5 minutes ago, he said, what did your spiritual master tell you? What instructions did he give you? If I were to ask you, what did your spiritual master tell you? What is your instruction from him? You will sit and think, okay, my spiritual master, what did he tell me? So my answer to Sankarshan Maharaj was, he didn't give me any particular instruction, he just initiated me, told me to follow the 4 regulative principles and chant 16 rounds. That was my answer, because I was just initiated. I didn't have... Srila Prabhupada's instructions from his spiritual master was go to the West and print books and distribute books straight away. That was his instruction. So Sankarshan Maharaj said, if you want to know your Guru's instruction, listen to his classes. Go and listen to his classes. So straight after initiation, I was lucky to be in this right place at the right time. So I took his instruction to heart and I went and found all the classes of my Guru Maharaj to listen to what he was telling me. So coming back to the six principles of accepting what is favorable to Krishna, I dovetail that to what would be acceptable to my spiritual master from hearing his classes. I could tell what is good, what is bad. What is a good thing, what is a bad thing. If I was not able to answer or actually identify what is acceptable to Krishna, at least I know what would be acceptable to my spiritual master. Like that. So the second principle is to reject everything that's unfavorable to Krishna. You reject it. You reject that. And third one, you have to have absolute faith that Krishna protects us. So Krishna protects you. He will protect you, obviously. There are many, many stories. The most famous one is Lord Narasimhadev protects Prahlad. And not only that, in Mayapur temple, we had many people who were attacking the temple. In India, they do that. And another religion, they want to, destroy Hindus or whatever other religions. So because of that, they prayed to Krishna, and they um, had the deity of Lord Narasimhadev installed. And the minute Lord Narasimhadev they went there, there were some attacks there, and they were sent chasing out, and their faces were all black because they didn't know how that became. It was like a burnt, and they were trying to attack the temple. But Lord Narasimhadev protected the devotees of Mayapur, protected the whole temple. It really happened. This is straight after that deity came, Lord Narasimhadev. You may already know this story, I'm just giving you briefly. So, that protection, faith, it needs to be there in each one of you. The heart should understand that Krishna protects you, no matter what. Me, you, everyone. So once we understand that, then we are one step closer to protecting ourselves from these Maya situations. Then the next one is fourth, Krishna maintains us. Not just protects us, he maintains you. He gives you what you are eating, what you are wearing, where you are living, shelter over your head, he gives you, he maintains you, takes care of you. Everything you have has been given by Krishna. He gives and he takes away, by the way. So we have to understand that. Krishna gives you. He protects you, he maintains you. And the fifth one is you self-surrender to Krishna, or you become Krishna's devotee. You worship Krishna. Become his devotee. So if you're doing those things, then you're protected from Maya situations. And the last one is humility, which is very difficult for some of us. Humility, being humble. Humble to Lord Krishna, humble enough to serve him. So sometimes you will see some very high-level devotees, they will offer mats to somebody, they will sweep, they will stand at the back of the line and get somebody else in the queue. That's humility. They look at children or somebody in suffering, they will help. Because they're doing that in the name of service to Lord Krishna. They do not think I'm in a high level and people should serve me. It's the other way around. Humility means to serve others. Humility means to serve Vaishnavas. Humility means to be kind. Humility means to care for other people, even animals, birds. So you will find that the devotees of Lord Krishna are the highest state of humility, first class, high quality. And that is the result of our Vedic scriptures, our teachings, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. So Lord Brahma hadn't done his homework that time. So that's why he fell prone to Maya at that time. But he corrected himself. He came back in another body. So these are some of the examples that has been given to us, that even at high level these things can happen. So what to speak of us, which means that we cannot judge each other. If someone is falling, we just have to be compassionate towards them. They are only human, they are falling. They are not the Lord, like the Lord. So we just have to correct them as much as possible. So in terms of women, there are two kinds. So for ladies, it is recommended you become a devotee. Then you cannot be somebody's Maya. You cannot make somebody fall. And once you do become a devotee, remain a devotee. So remain a devotee. Because there is, at every step, there is danger. So that is all I have to say. There's so much here that I could have said, but we have actually reached our time. Are there any comments or any questions? Yes, Prabhu. Yes, correct. Yes, yes. They Prabhu's question is I mentioned the 6 sons. Were they the sons of Marichi? Yes, Marichi. They were the sons of Marichi, the sage, who made the prayer to Lord Brahma, and they laughed. So this one is in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 85. If you read, go to Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 85. The text would be somewhere 47 text or something like that. There is a story given in that. That Marichi's sons laughed at Brahma. And then the rest of the story you will have to get from different Purans to say, how they transmigrated from being the sons of Marichi to the sons of Kalanemi. And then after that they became the sons of Devaki. And then they were killed by Kamsa, and then once they were killed by Kamsa, they went to the hellish planets, Sutala Lok they went. So the story goes, to continue that story, after Devaki's sons were killed, they went to Sutala Lok, that is ruled by Bali Maharaj. So Krishna, when he came to free his mother from the prison, Devaki, requested to Krishna, bring my sons back, the ones that were killed. Where are they? So once somebody is killed, they never come back. But Krishna, his mother told him, go and bring my sons back. So Krishna went. He went all the way, went to different planets, finally went to Sutalok, where Bali Maharaj was. And Bali Maharaj, Lord Krishna went with Lord Balaram. And Bali Maharaj greeted them, welcomed them in his loka, and worshipped them. And then said, how can I serve you? What do you want? And Krishna said, my brothers, they were babies. Kamsa killed them, return them. So Bali Maharaj said, yes, you can take these boys. So Krishna got the 6 boys from Sutala Lok, from Bali Maharaj, returned them to his mother Devaki. When Devaki saw his 6 sons, her 6 sons, she became a mother again. She started producing milk for the babies and gave them milk, all 6 of them. She fed them milk. What happened was, as soon as they took the milk, those boys, they left their bodies again and went back to the heavenly abode. So Devaki was very surprised. She said, they just died and went, and then you brought them back, and now they're gone again. Why? Because Krishna had drank from that milk. So Devaki's breast milk was already prasadam, mahaprasadam. So these babies, as soon as they drank, they got liberated straight away. They went back to the heavens, in the heavenly abode. That's the end of, I didn't complete that story, so thank you for asking me that question. So I can complete the story about those boys who laughed at Lord Brahma. What happened to them? They returned to their abode after drinking milk from Devaki. Yes, Prabhu. Yes. 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 Okay, that's a very, very good question. Interesting question. The question is that Brahma did this act because he had not heard the Srimad Bhagavatam. However, Lord Brahma had gone over the Vedas 3 times. How come the Vedas didn't stop Brahma from doing this act? Well, the Vedas have instructions in there. There are 4 Vedas. They have instructions of Karma Kand there. So only a very small section of Vedas is about Krishna. The rest of them is about different levels of bhakti at a lower stage. So strictly speaking, the Vedas is not able to deliver a soul. Did you know that? So if you were to read the Vedas, the 4 Vedas, it's not going to help you. However, it will facilitate you to go higher. Like for example, we study in high school or we study in primary school. So Vedas are like primary or high school. But Srimad Bhagavatam is like masters and doctorate and professor, which is capable of delivering you. The Vedas has got a small section which mentions Krishna, but it is not enough. Unless you take that section to heart and you start chanting, which is kind of not for everybody who may be able to achieve. So we need to be able to read the Bhagavad Gita or the Srimad Bhagavatam in order to, and so that is what the example was. That's why Lord Brahma was unable to deliver himself at that time. He committed such an act. That's why, because the Vedas are not enough. Any other question? Comments? Okay. Thank you very much for listening. Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai.